You're listening to the Listless Lounge, chly.ca/listen. I'm DJ Coolkid. You refresh the page like it owes you something. Like somewhere between the blue glow and the spinning wheel of updates, your life might finally begin. A party you weren't invited to, a launch you didn't hear about, a relationship that bloomed without you, a room where everyone is laughing and no one thought to save you a seat. Fear of missing out. But missing out on what? On the filtered proof that other people are alive? On curated joy packaged into squares? On moments that look like destiny but were staged between arguments and anxiety? We are terrified of absence, terrified that somewhere something extraordinary is happening and we are not there to witness it. Which must mean we are not extraordinary ourselves. FOMO doesn't scream. It whispers. It says, they're moving ahead, they're becoming something, you're behind, you're late, you should be somewhere else by now. It does not tell you where that somewhere is, only that it isn't here. And so you split in two. There's the version of you in the present moment, sitting in your room, in your car, at your desk, on your couch, in your quiet. And there's the imagined version of you, living louder, faster, shinier. The imagined you is surrounded, chosen, seen. And the present you feels like a placeholder. But what if that fear isn't about missing out? What if it's about mistrusting your own timing? I mean, we've built a world that broadcasts milestones like emergency alerts, engagements, promotions, sold-out shows, six-figure launches, perfect bodies, perfect trips, perfect friends. Every scroll is a reminder that the clock is ticking. And you are not where you thought you would be. But whose clock are you racing? You compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 19. You compare your rehearsal to someone else's highlight reel. You compare your construction site to someone else's finished cathedral. And then you panic. Because maybe you took a wrong turn. Maybe you said no when you should have said yes. Maybe you stayed when you should have left. Maybe you chose stability over spectacle. Maybe you chose healing over chaos. Maybe you chose yourself. And that feels like missing out, when everyone else seems to be choosing noise. But here's what no one posts. Most of what we fear missing is not aligned with us anyway. You're not afraid of missing a party. You are afraid of not being remembered. You're not afraid of missing a trip. You're afraid of not becoming someone. You're not afraid of missing success. You're afraid that success will miss you. And so you chase. You say yes to rooms that drain you. You stretch yourself into conversations that shrink you. You force connections that were never meant to hold you. All to avoid the unbearable thought. What if I'm not meant for something great? But what if greatness is not an event? What if it is a season? What if it's not loud, it's not viral, not visible? What if greatness is learning patience when everyone else is sprinting? Staying still when comparison tries to drag you into traffic? What if greatness is building something so quietly, so carefully, that no one notices until it is unshakable? And we assume destiny feels like fireworks, confetti, and applause. But most destinies feel like doubt. They feel like unanswered emails, slow growth, friends who drift, nights where you question everything. They feel like nothing is happening, but something is. Roots grow in darkness, and no one stands over a seed screaming, "Why aren't you a tree yet?" Except we do that to ourselves. We treat our current season like a mistake, like a waiting room or a punishment. But what if this is the place? Not a placeholder, not a delay, not a detour, the place. The exact coordinates where you are supposed to be, learning what you need to learn, becoming who you need to become, so that when the door opens, you can walk through it without collapsing under its weight. FOMO convinces you that life is happening elsewhere, but life is happening in the inhale that you just took, in the friend you haven't texted back, in the skill you're quietly sharpening, in the heartbreak that is carving depth into you, in the boredom that is forcing you to confront yourself. You are not behind. You are in formation. And formation feels lonely because you can't post it, you can't tag it, you can't measure it. You just have to trust it. Trust that the nights no one claps for are building the mornings they will. Trust that being excluded from certain rooms is protection, not punishment. Trust that the silence is not evidence of failure, but space being cleared. Missing out implies something was meant for you and slipped away. But what is meant for you does not require you to sprint toward it in panic. It meets you. It grows with you. It unfolds when you are ready to hold it. And readiness is invisible. No one sees the restraint, or the discipline, or the tears you cry when comparison claws at your chest. They only see outcomes. But you live in the becoming. FOMO is the fear that your becoming will never become, that you will stay unseen, unchosen, uncelebrated. But look closely at what you envy. The spotlight or the certainty? Because what you really want is not the event. It is the assurance that you are exactly where you should be. And here's the paradox. You are. Even in confusion, even in obscurity, and even in stillness, the oak tree does not envy the river. The river does not envy the mountain. They do not scroll through each other's timelines wondering if they picked the wrong path. They simply are. Growing, moving, standing, according to their design. What if you stopped measuring your life by invitations? What if you stopped interpreting absence as inadequacy? What if the reason you are not in certain spaces is because your story requires different terrain? Not everyone is meant to peak at 25. Not everyone is meant to explode into visibility. Not everyone is meant to be everywhere. Some people are meant to build something so personal, so specific, that it can't be rushed or replicated. And that kind of life cannot be lived without constantly glancing sideways. You cannot hear your own calling over the noise of everyone else's celebration. So maybe the fear of missing out is really the fear of trusting in. Trusting that the quiet is not emptiness, that the slow pace is not stagnation, that exclusion is not erasure. Trusting that you are not wandering. You are walking a path that does not look like theirs because it was never meant to. And the most dangerous thing you can do is abandon it just to avoid the discomfort of watching others run. Let them run. Let them shine. Let them gather in rooms that are not yours. Your room is being built. Not rushed, not borrowed, built. Brick by invisible brick. One day, someone will look at your life and feel the same flicker of envy. They will wonder how you became so certain, so steady, so aligned. They will not see the nights you almost traded it all for the illusion of being elsewhere. But you will know. You did not miss out. You stayed.